For his New Year's resolution, Ben promises to not act a fool for at least the first 3 days of 2026. Did I get it right? Did I guess right, Ben?
No. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about why later. But
When you're older.
yeah, something like that. Welcome to another episode of Cross Checking. I'm Pastor Ben Olschlager, as always, and with me, as always, is Pastor Josh Laborious down in Texas. We are experiencing the extremes of the U.S. climate at the moment. We got 6 inches of snow here in Michigan yesterday.
Oh, that
Dude,
sounds awful.
it was so much fun. We got a snow day. I got a snow day as an adult, and that rarely happens here. So I'm loving it.
Just some extra. So today here it's a high of 67, 40, low 46. And then tomorrow 75, 58, 73, 60. And then it drops back down a little bit. But that's what we in the business call good weather. I don't know what Ben's doing. I don't know what any of you guys are doing living up there in Canada.
So, Josh, in a couple months here, when the Winter Olympics start, and all those athletes from Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin and Alaska win gold, and you start chanting USA, USA, USA from your couch, you will be glad that parts of the country exist where snow falls. Because it's always fun to rub it in Russia's face.
I guess all I can say is I've seen a lot of advertisements with some of the star athletes for the Winter Olympics, and a lot of them, their hometowns seem to be in warm places. So they go visit the cold to train, but then they live somewhere hospitable. Anyway, we're not necessarily here to talk about the weather. We're here in our, call it a mini series in between our seasons, to continue to talk about some of these holidays that get all bunched up at the end of the year. And today we're talking about one that is actually not bunched up at the end of the year. It's just the first through the gate on the next year. And it is New Year's. So I guess New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
The most arbitrary holiday in existence.
Oh, that is not true. That is not true. There's a National Donut Day.
That's not a day that you get off of work, though. That's not a day that they cancel mail service for.
That's true. But
they just
no. So here's my contention. All of the days we get off to celebrate a person or a class of people are totally arbitrary. Well, that's not true. I guess a lot of them are people's birthdays or anniversaries or something. Never mind. Okay. I've convinced myself that Ben might have a point.
Literally, the only thing that we're celebrating on New Year's is the fact that we changed the last number in our date, or first number, depending on how your...
If you do it wrong or not?
Well, no, depending on how your dating system works. Oftentimes, computer code goes year, month, day. But anyway.
Yeah, so we were talking about the new year.
A change of a number on a calendar. And when you have to throw out your last... this is a calendar that one of my DCEs had in high school. It was 365 and a quarter ways to skin a cat. Or to kill a cat. Sorry for cat owners out there. But my point being, this is just the arbitrary day that you have to change calendars. From 365 and a quarter ways to kill a cat calendar to the next one.
I'm what? Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. But I mean, surely you can acknowledge there is I don't know how to describe, maybe an emotional impetus, because even though, right, December 31st and January 1st, there is very little different of those 2 days. But there is something cognitively of this is a new year.
Sure. But
And it's the same
why is
thought
it on
as like you
January
wake up in the
1st?
morning after a really bad day and you say to yourself, today is a new day, today will hopefully be better. Except it's so much bigger because you're talking about a bigger unit of time.
But
So if you are
why is it
excited
January
about the new
1st?
year and you're
Why is it
very
January
upset with
1st,
Ben's
Josh?
comments,
why not on the winter solstice? That creates so much cleaner a break.
doesn't that change dates every year?
No. It's the same day every year.
Really?
Yeah. I think
I'm fact checking him on this one.
I think the
this year it is
fall and spring equinoxes can change date, but I believe that the winter solstice is the same day every year.
According to this handy dandy graphic from the National Weather Service, the winter solstice is either December 21st or December 22nd. It is not the same day every year.
Okay. Well, we could pick the one that it is more often and just make that the end of the year. Then it would actually line up with something.
It sounds to me like your problem is not with the celebration of New Year's, it is with the design of the calendar.
Sure.
And
because
I can do nothing for you.
The whole thing is arbitrary.
You're arbitrary.
I mean, I guess. So are you, Josh. And yet, you know what, Josh?
Why are we having this conversation right now?
Jesus loved you so much that he came to die for you.
Our listening is going to drop off so hard between 7 minutes, between 0 and 7 minutes. If you're still here, congrats to you. I don't know how we got here, but I'm going to blame Ben.
Go in the comment section. Let us know if this is the kind of anachronistic, like...
Okay, I'm just
chaos
heartbreak.
That you love.
Ben, do you do a worship service on New Year's Eve?
We do not.
Or are you in the same camp as you are for Thanksgiving, where you are opposed to it?
I'm not necessarily as opposed to it as I am for Thanksgiving. But I also think that it's just a rough time to add another service because you've just come off of Advent and Christmas. So, like, I appreciate wanting to start off the new year in prayer. Open your portals of prayer for January through March of 2026. Read the devotion with your family. Talk through it together. And then call it a day.
Fair enough.
Let your pastor have a day off. They do a lot.
Hopefully they do a lot.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have a bum pastor.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to ask in terms of the post office. Is the post office closed on the 31st and the 1st? Which day is the day off?
I believe they're closed on the 1st. Which makes sense to me because, like, if everybody's up late the night before, I don't necessarily want my postal worker on 4 hours of sleep trying to deliver everybody's mail. Because, like, somebody's going to get their neighbor's mail, and somebody's going to get, like, 3 houses down's mail, and somebody's mail is just going to end up in completely the wrong place. Like, it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. I am in support of New Year's Day being off for the same reason that I think the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday should be a holiday and a day off. I'm not condoning the behavior because debauchery is a sin and we should not drink to the point of drunkenness. But I'm also acknowledging the reality that New Year's Eve and Super Bowl Sunday are drinking holidays, and a significant percentage of the American population is hurting on the next day because of their decisions the night before. And I think out of kindness and love for our neighbors, we should not make people go into work on those 2 days. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But Josh, I'm going to take the devil's advocate side of things here. But Josh, if we give people a holiday to cure their hangover, won't they just drink more and have a worse hangover? Why not just tell them that they need to show up for work the next day, and then maybe they won't get so drunk?
I can't help stupid. Well, we can all sign a pact. We already get January 1st off. If we get the Monday after Super Bowl off, we won't drink on that Monday. I say we. I am not hungover on those days, is how I'll phrase that. Okay. I'm not speaking for myself. I will say, however, I stay up way too late on Super Bowl Sunday at very least. And I wouldn't mind not having to get up early the next day. That I will speak for.
I'm not necessarily saying that we should discourage people from drinking on the day after. I'm saying we just shouldn't give them the day after off so that they can't drink on the day that they want to be dumb in the first place. Enjoy your alcoholic beverages responsibly, people. That's all I'm saying.
Limit yourself to 3.
That's all I'm saying. Or less, especially if you're on medication that adversely reacts to alcohol.
In fact, if you're on medication that adversely reacts to alcohol, you should have no alcohol. That's actually how that little warning label on medication isn't there idly.
Yeah. This is not where Josh thought this podcast is going.
Do we need to just start this episode over?
No, this. Let Josh know that this is the kind of content that people want. Let this be the highest listened to episode in the history of cross-checking / man buns and Jesus.
My goodness. Okay, so New Year's, no worship. So rank it for me.
Sure.
Thanksgiving, New Year's, and you can throw in any other holidays that some churches worship and some don't. Rank on with the first one in your ranking being most okay, most reason for us to be in worship, and the last one in your ranking, it shouldn't even be a thought that crosses your mind.
Sure.
Throw in National Donut Day, so you at very least have 3. Okay. Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, National Donut Day.
Okay. So I'm going to add to that Valentine's Day for a very specific reason, and you'll see it in a minute. Okay.
Fascinating.
I've
never heard anyone suggest we should have a Valentine's Day. I should actually hold on, because last year or maybe 2 years ago, it was a Lenten midweek on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, if you have a Lenten midweek service, your attendance drops on Valentine's Day because, for a lot of people, it's date night.
Specifically, Josh, it was Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day.
It was Ash Wednesday. You're right.
Yeah. Because if you get that early in February for your first Advent or for an Advent service, it's probably Ash Wednesday. So my bottom of the barrel there would be National Donut Day, obviously. God certainly blessed us when he gave us donuts, but we don't need a specific service on that day to celebrate the wonderful, doughy, sugary confection that is a donut.
However, if we want to have a fellowship hour where we all have donuts, I am okay with organizing that.
Yep. If you've already got something planned at church on National Donut Day, if it falls on a Sunday or a Wednesday or Bible study day or whatever, just bring donuts and celebrate. That sounds like a great idea.
National Donut Day in 2026 is Friday, June 5th. We might have a donut party at church on Friday, June 5th.
That sounds like a good idea.
Because of this conversation. There's a donut place for those of you who are listening from my neck of the woods. Parlor Donuts. My goodness, they're the best. I think it's my favorite donut place I've ever been to. The donuts are wicked expensive per donut.
Believe it or not, it's a chain. We've got one too.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew it's a chain. Like there are quite a few in here, but I had never seen them outside of the Houston area.
We have one like 4 or 5
I'm
miles
so
from
happy
church.
for you. I love Parlor Donuts.
Okay. So if
there is one right by my gym, by the way, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah,
there's a gym, and then you can undo all of your work at the gym just right next door. So Donut Day, not planning a worship service on National Donut Day. Okay, I can respect that. There might be a
fellowship event. That seems more appropriate anyway. We could break bread together. Just
what did bread ever do to you?
Then I think second would probably be Thanksgiving. Again, national holiday. And I just don't necessarily feel like national holidays should get mixed with church holidays that deeply. And for the same reason, I'd put like
4th of July.
4th of July in there too.
Which 4th of July, great opportunity for church fellowship events. I will, because we have a really good view of fireworks here, so we do a church fellowship event, and that's cool.
There you go. I will note the one exception to that I would put in is Memorial Day, because it's a day that honors sacrifice, and if there's an ethical thing that the church should probably be in favor of encouraging, sacrifices it.
It is, yeah, that's a hallmark of.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity to serve grieving people. Like, if the church is not willing to serve grieving people, we're missing the mark on that a little bit. So.
Yeah. I can agree with that. But so we're getting clear on this ranking here. We have National Donut Day, least worship worthy.
Yeah.
Stepping up, we have Thanksgiving and similar civic holidays.
Yes.
So
4th of July,
Thanksgiving,
President's
4th
Day.
of July. Yeah. Okay. Continuing upward, I think.
Stepping up from there would be New Year's. Again, I appreciate the sentiment of we want to start the new year in prayer and ask God to bless it. It just feels arbitrary to me. And make sure your pastor has Sabbath.
What do you mean? Pastors are great at taking Sabbath.
Anyway, and then above that, I would place Valentine's Day. Because there's a real church history.
Did you add Valentine's Day just so you didn't have to put New Year's on top of your list?
No. I did it because I want to kind of point to my logic. There's a real church reason for celebrating Valentine's Day, in that it is a commemoration of a saint who did really cool things. And we don't need to go to the Catholic extent of like praying to saints to remember their contributions to the church. We can just say, look, here was a righteous man who, sanctified by God, did some incredible things for the church, was even willing to die for it. So skip your dinner date, go another night, and come thank God for a faithful servant of the word.
This is going to sound really bad that this is going to be my response to that. I think Valentine's Day is a stupid holiday. And
are you talking about the secular version or the church version?
yes, the secular version, I have no problem with a festival for Saint Valentine. Okay. But if you were to do a worship service for the feast of Saint Valentine on Valentine's Day, unless you had a very well theologically liturgically educated congregation and that is all you had, people are going to come in with the expectation of a secular Valentine's Day kind of thing. And while you could make that work, I think I'm fundamentally opposed to it, because in a lot of this is a rant we don't need today, but you're going to get it anyway. I think in a lot of ways the secular Valentine's Day, so the heart-shaped everything, which isn't the shape of a heart. For anyone who missed the episode of The Big Bang Theory, it is the shape of a butt. Letting that sit with you for a second. Okay. That Valentine's Day, honestly, I think it might lift up all of the worst parts of the popular version of love, because so much of it is materialistic and transactional, and it in no way does Valentine's Day, as it is popularly conceived, build up love is patient and kind. It doesn't boast. It is not arrogant. It is not resentful or irritable. Now, you can be in the context of a romantic relationship, you can be a couple who celebrates Valentine's Day, and your celebration of Valentine's Day lifts up the biblical definitions of love. I don't want to deny that, so don't get all uppity with me in the comment section. But when we celebrate Valentine's Day, it's great. That might be true. All I'm saying is the holiday, the commercials, the everything, it's not lifting up a biblical version of love. I would even go so far, I'm not even sure it's lifting up healthy relationships. If you're a family and marriage therapist and you're listening to this for some reason, go ahead and give us some insight. Do you think Valentine's Day builds up relationships in a way that is actually healthy? Or is it just a minefield sitting out there? And it's the way I phrase that. I know this sounds like I might have a personally bad experience with Valentine's Day. I do not. I have never had a particularly bad Valentine's Day in my life. This is just a rant on principle. I'm lucky. I am very lucky. I'm married to a woman who also kind of thinks Valentine's Day is dumb. That is good. That is good for my safety.
I love that for you, Josh.
I hate that you said that.
Honestly, as you're going through that rant, I was like, how many of these bullet points also apply to the secular version of Christmas?
Oh, sure, yes,
yeah, or even the secular version of New Year's. Like,
well, is there
it's
non-secular version of New Year's?
I mean, the traditional church service on New Year's Day, but that's about it.
Yeah, but there's not like a festival of the new year. It's not like a historic church festival, right?
Not that I know of. Anyway. I'd be interested to know where that comes from. Like, I know we have hymns in the hymnal for New Year.
We do, and I understand why. Because so back to the origin of all this nonsense. I agree. National Donut Day does unfortunately go on the bottom of the list of I'm probably never planning a worship service for that holiday. I think then I'm going to put Valentine's Day for the reasons I just mentioned. It's one of those things where, do I understand theoretically that it belonged to the church first? Yes. Am I aware enough that I can acknowledge the work that would have to go into resting it back is probably not worth it. Also, yes.
So, circling back to an earlier conversation before you continue with this, we could kill two birds with one stone on St. Patrick's Day.
No, kill two snakes with one stone.
Also true. Also true. Or two snakes with one potato.
I recently came across a website where you can send someone a potato with their face printed on it. So if you want to get a gift for someone that's really not a gift, you can get them a potato with their face printed on it.
Hashtag not nad. Oh. Is it edible?
I assume so.
Okay.
I have not personally... I have no personal experience with the potato purchasing process. Anyway, so St. Patrick's Day, whatever Ben's saying. Okay, so Valentine's Day, and then I agree with Ben. Thanksgiving, other civic holidays. I am less opposed to them than Ben is. I am, but anyway. And then I'd put New Year's at the top of the list because it is a time when a lot of people are in a weird turn of events for our society, taking some time to be a little bit more self-reflective and introspective in a critical way. Like we do, our society, we love focusing on ourselves, and it's not just our society, humanity. We love focusing on ourselves, but very rarely do we do so in a critical way. But because there's this concept of the New Year resolution, and even if you don't do formal New Year's resolutions, there are a lot of people that view it as a chance to turn the page over, to kind of start fresh on something. I think that's a great opportunity to step in and have a church service, have a worship service where it's, when you're thinking about this introspectively, first of all, think in terms of your faith rather just in terms of whatever these arbitrary values that have been set up. Mm-hmm. Think about yourself in terms of your walk and your discipleship, and then frame your new page, your new leaf, your resolutions in terms of your relationship with God. And that goes for maybe some obvious things of, oh, well, this new year, maybe I'm going to get into devotions more consistently, or I'm going to set a higher expectation for myself as far as worship attendance. And those are maybe some obvious ones, but even reframing other, just frankly, non-spiritual New Year's, like if your New Year's resolution is to lose weight, don't frame that in terms of, well, I want to lose weight for the aesthetics or whatever. You phrase it as, God has given me this gift of a body and I should take care of it, and maybe part of that is losing weight. Although as the former personal trainer, I would advocate don't focus on losing weight. That's not, weight actually means startlingly little in terms of health. Focus on healthy habits, focus on eating, on exercising regularly in a way that is comfortable and enjoyable for you, that still pushes you, and focus on body composition. Those are all more helpful metrics to set. And if you're eating healthy and you're exercising enough, you're going to find a healthy weight. You're going to get there. Don't worry. Anyway, there's my thing. If you're worried about your quote unquote weight this New Year's, don't focus on the weight. Focus on healthier habits instead. Anyway, I'm ranty today. If we record 2 episodes, that's going to be a lot of rantiness we're putting out into the ether. So, but yeah, I would be most open, I guess, to planning a New Year's Eve worship service, because I think there's an opportunity there to help people take an intentional step in their discipleship.
You're ready for me to throw a grenade into all of that?
If you say something like, well, every day is an opportunity to take a step in your discipleship. I'm just going to shrug it and say whatever. So prepare yourself for that if that's where you're going with this.
So I've been recently, I'll say recently radicalized to this perspective.
I'm the radical on this show, Ben. You cannot take my job.
Been recently radicalized to the position that New Year's resolutions are dumb because it gives you an excuse to wait to start something that's good for you.
I don't disagree that New Year's resolutions are dumb. My contention for the worship side of it is whether I think they're dumb or not, it is something that a lot of people do, and it's a place where I can help people do it in a way that helps their discipleship. That is my contention.
I mean, fair. But wouldn't you rather they just, if they have something they're thinking about making as a change in their life, just do it now?
Yes.
Okay, folks. So I'm talking to you
but
now.
This episode is about New Year's. And I don't remember when we're releasing it, but presumably around New Year's. So for this conversation, telling people to get after it now may as well be New Year's.
So New Year's this year falls on a Thursday, I believe. New Year's Eve is a Wednesday, New Year's Day is a Thursday. So if this episode releases on a Monday, which is Josh's normal habit, you have 2 to 3 days, maybe one if you're listening to this on New Year's Eve, to just start your habit a day early and get in the habit of not making excuses as to when you're going to start your habit. Just do it now. And that can maybe even be your New Year's resolution, that you're not going to wait for New Year's to start new resolutions if they're good things for you to change. So if Josh challenges you in a sermon, as he, I'm sure, frequently does, because he is a man who likes to push buttons. If Josh challenges...
What are you talking about? I would never.
If Josh challenges you in a sermon...
After this episode, I got to tell you about a sermon I preached a couple weeks ago. Woo! It did set a new record for length of sermon, though. It was 31 minutes long.
Oof.
And I do apologize for that. I did not intend for it to be 31 minutes long.
Josh's people, for those of you who made it through that sermon, you have earned yourself a long-winded preacher badge in your Boy Scout or Girl Scout vest. Congratulations. Those will be awarded later.
I survived the 31-minute sermon.
Actually, that should just be merch for your church. Like, and if people signed in that Sunday,
you're not allowed to buy the shirt unless you were there that week.
Exactly. If people signed in that Sunday, they can get that T-shirt. Yep. Anyway, point being that, where was I going with this?
I don't know where you were going with this. If
Josh has challenged you in a sermon, just do it. Don't wait.
Do it. Yes, I love this message. You preach, Brent.
Brent.
Preach, Ben. Amen, brother.
Josh, my next challenge to you is to slow down before you speak.
No, I should. I really should, but I'm probably not going to.
That's okay. I do the same thing.
I slow down when I preach, though. 70% of speaking speed.
That's good. I think that's even encouraged for public speakers in general, not just preachers.
It is.
But we completely ignore that when we podcast because you can't tell us what to do.
Precisely. You can slow down the speed if you want.
That's true. Or if you're insane, you can listen to this at 2 times speed.
Oh man, people. Oh, you're right. Insane is the right word there.
I occasionally listen to to podcasts on 1.2 or maybe 1.5 if I'm really behind on some of my sports podcasts and I just want to burn through a bunch of them and catch up. But faster than that, No, it's like listening to an auctioneer try to tell you deep things about the team that you follow. Just doesn't work.
Just doesn't work.
Anyway, yeah. If you get challenged, just stop doing the thing you were doing and do the good thing that you should be doing. I think that's like
Do better.
I I literally think that's the process of repentance.
I
So
mean, yeah.
yeah. Uh yeah, listen to John the Baptist. We're recording this in the midst of Advent. So fair amount of John the Baptist readings in the lectionary right now. Listen to the voice of John the Baptist as he says, "Repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand." Well, Jesus says at hand. John says near, but good enough.
Good enough.
Josh, you got anything else before we end
I don't
this?
think so.
Absolute
Travesty of an episode.
I was going to say joy of an episode, but
a little bit of both. Well, I think it might, and you don't have to do this on the new year, so Ben is appeased. In terms of, let's say, goal setting for discipleship, I am a staunch advocate for, we'll call it, progressive overloading of discipleship. It's a term borrowed from weightlifting, actually, and the basic concept is you do as much as you can, flirting with the edge of failure, so that next time you can do a little more. Translate that into English. Translate that in terms of discipleship. If the extent of your discipleship habits right now are you attend worship 2 or 3 times a month, it probably does not behoove you to set a goal to read 4 chapters of your Bible a day, to pray for 2 hours a day, to be there every single Sunday, to be at every other Bible study that is offered by your church, and to start a small group at your house. Those are all good things. That's the equivalent of going 0 to 300 miles an hour on a moped.
You may also not be prepared for all of that.
That's a lot.
That'd be like if Josh's infant son attempted to pick up 200 pounds.
Yeah, it just isn't going to budge.
No.
And it sets you up. It sets you up
your
for
son,
failure.
Josh. It is your son.
Honestly, 200 pounds, no. But like if there was 100-pound weight sitting around and he could like tip it up on its side, not straight lift it, but like tip it, I'd be like, yeah, probably. He's 2. For anyone who doesn't know that, my son is 2.
No, the other one.
Oh, yeah. Isaiah's not doing that. He can lift his head already, though. So, which is impressive for a 2-month-old. Impressive probably isn't the right word. Anyway, so in terms of discipleship, I'm going to kind of walk through these. If you want to set a goal for worship attendance, and your attendance, say you average somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks a month, just try to bump that up, say 3 to 4 weeks a month, where on your work, like if you've only been 2 and it's the last week of the month, you make sure you're there for the 3rd, and you kind of set that standard of, I'm not going to let it be lower than 75%. In terms of Bible reading, if you read nothing, say I'm going to read a section try to do a section a day. I do try to push a little bit further than just reading a verse, because first of all, you can read more than 1 sentence a day. Like, that is manageable. I say read a section because that usually gives you 1 unit, like 1 full dialogue or story or narrative. Like it gives you some level of context to what you're reading. If you're talking about in terms of Bible study, pick one that you can fit into your schedule and that can become a habit. That's kind of more of a switch kind of thing. In terms of a small group, that's maybe if you've done a lot of those other things and you're looking for, well, actually, no, small group's a good step, even if you've just done worship attendance, but that's something, think through kind of, is that something that can be sustainable for you? And if you have no experience with them, leading them maybe isn't. Like, you might could, but anyway, just think about, take manageable steps. I'm not going to say small steps, but take manageable steps. Tithing's the same thing. If you don't give anything to your church, don't go from 0 to 10%. That's probably not very doable, but start by giving something consistently and you can build up from then. So yeah, that's, if you are insistent on setting your New Year's resolution goals, that is my advice for you. Take it or leave it.
I dig.
Just like my dogs. Unfortunately.
They enjoy having a yard now.
They do enjoy having a yard. Alas. They also enjoy having under the yard, on the outer of the yard. Anyway, Ben, we got empty netters, or did you have anything else? I suppose I should be polite and ask you the same question you asked me.
No, I'm good.
All right, then give us those empty netters, my guy.
I think my my one and only empty netter for this is, like, New Year's is cool. Enjoy it. Be smart. Don't let it be the only time that you're willing to think deeply and make change.
I can appreciate that. My takeaway is that Valentine's Day is stupid. There's my takeaway for the day. That's a wrap. Go in peace. Serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Thank you for listening in to this episode of Cross-Checking, a ministry of Hope and Good Shepherd Lutheran Churches, where we strive to deepen your understanding of the faith and help apply it to daily life. If this podcast is helpful to you, rate the podcast, subscribe to us on your favorite platform, and share it with others who might also gain something from it.